just like plain, just like now that I learned about tofu. But at the same time, I thought, what are my other options? I mean, I did apply to regular jobs. I actually got interviewed by Google. Now I think about it every time because they know they were going to be so big. But still, I wouldn't change it for anything. Because when I was in Japan, the kids are like you guys. I taught in high school in Kitakyushu. So this was Halloween, actually. So basically, I was there I was the only foreigner in that school, and they were very curious. They would come up to me and look at me, and they're like, "Are you American? Like, you have black hair, you have black eyes. How are you American? Why do you speak English?" And then of course I was like, "I speak Chinese. Does that make it better?" Right? So that's where I really learned that as whoever you are, wherever you go, you're an ambassador for wherever you're coming from. Even just when you go as a tourist to Paris, to Beijing or something. You know, I taught them about Taiwan. I taught them about being Taiwanese American. I taught them about the immigrants in America, right? So not only did I teach them what they paid me for, is to teach them English and the holidays and everything, but I tell them more. I tell them about, I mean, obviously Japan knows Taiwan very well, but I tell them more about what is, you know, being an immigrant in the States. So we actually had an exchange student. So they actually had an English kind of class as well. Kind of like, I guess, your program here. So they had an exchange student who came over for 2-3 months. So obviously I was mentoring him while he was there. Yeah. So guess what? I get to continue dancing when I was there. So obviously, you guys probably know, the kids nowadays, the high school students, are great at dancing. They practice in front of the train stations in Kitakyushu, the JR stations. So we actually performed at 他们的 Culture Day, 他们的文化季, at my school. And then my school had a beautiful cherry blossom, and that was my little desk in the little corner. It looks really boring, but you just kind of make it fun. I'm gonna keep on going because it's almost 3 o'clock. I just realized that I played the game a little bit too long, but we'll come back to it if you guys are interested. You can look at the video. So obviously with the JEP program, it's called the Japan Exchange Teaching Program. So they have people from all the English-speaking countries, including US, Canada, India. Their official language is English. Singapore, their official language is also English. Australia, New Zealand, obviously all the Great Britain areas. So I made a lot of friends, people who I still visit. I went to New Zealand and I visited Amelia. Amelia just came to San Francisco. And then some people from Hawaii. And I also kept on dancing. I did Yosakoi, which is a festival dance in Japan. So I was in a dance group here. I went to a couple weddings. Actually met one of the organizers, Go-san. He came to New York while I was in New York. So we actually met up for a meal one time. So you never know, these people that you meet randomly, sometimes in your life you'll see them again and you get free meals. So when I was in Japan, I went to Vietnam. So the JEP program is great. It's almost like an extension of college. I think Taiwan has something similar. So the JEP program is a US government partnered with Japanese government to have this kind of cultural sharing program. I think Taiwan has something similar that they may go to different countries. I actually met Lien Jia-en in Africa. I think he was one of the physicians that went to Africa, so he went on some Taiwan group as well. So everyone who went on JET, we all want to learn more about the world. So we actually went volunteering together. So we went to Vietnam. We went to the southern part of Vietnam, the Mekong Delta. And that was my first time. First time going to a country not for sightseeing, but actually to teach and really encounter the different population, not in the hotels or not in the museums, but actually in the villages. So Vietnam obviously doesn't snow, and they don't really have snowman for Christmas. So we kind of share with them and ask them to draw their images of snowman, of Christmas trees, because they do not have pine trees. So that's kind of what we did, and really just play with them. And at that time, I learned that I would call volunteering tourism. And I didn't know what it was, but basically you go volunteer and you go sightseeing at the same time. Can you go next? And then so afterwards, after I saw that in the villages, that's when I realized that education is very important. But if you're not healthy, you can't learn. If you're starving, you don't have the energy. Can you learn? Can you learn right before lunch? The class right before lunch is usually horrible because you just want to go eat, okay? So that's when I really thought about maybe medicine is something that I want to do. I mean, obviously, I want to help these people. So then I went to Nepal as I was finishing JET. I stayed in Japan for 2 years. So then I went to Nepal. I went to this little town called Tatauda. So I'm going to assume that you guys know where Nepal is. It's just north of India. So Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal. So India is here, Tibet is over there, Bhutan is over here, Bangladesh is here, and here's Nepal. So Kathmandu is this little village 6 hours away from Kathmandu by jeep over the mountains. So I went with the Nepal Educational Support Trust. It's another teaching, like English teaching volunteer that I found. And basically they built a school in that little village of Tatauda and then tried to encourage actually both girls and boys to finish school for a discounted price. And then, yeah, so that was my host family. Next. Yeah, so when I was there, they told me it was going to be an English camp of about 30 children. When I got there, it turned out to be 120 because they heard that there was a foreigner coming in. And guess what happened when they saw me? What happened when they saw me? They came up to me very, very close again. They said, "Are you American? Why do you look," I mean, I don't look like Nepalese, but obviously I don't look blonde hair, blue eyes. So it's another chance for me. They've never seen the ocean. If you saw Nepal, they are surrounded by land, by mountains. They have not even seen the ocean. They have no idea where's Taiwan. They have no idea where's Hawaii. They know palm trees, maybe. They know maybe about surfing. But, so not only was I there again to teach them about, I guess, what did I teach them? ABC? Different English activities, but again, I definitely taught them more cultural. We danced hula. I taught them about hula. They taught me about the different Nepalese dance with their hands. They're a Hindu-based country religiously, so they taught me about their different gods and the elephants and things. And when I was there, one of my students, she walked for 3 hours to come to the English camp. She walked for 3 hours over the mountain to come. And one day she didn't come. That's when I noticed that she wasn't there. And then I asked the teacher why didn't she come? And then the teacher said, "Oh, her mom is sick." So her mom is sick, so why didn't she come? She's not sick. So she's the oldest in her family. So because her mom is sick, she has to take care of her siblings who are younger. And that was another incident where I realized that, I can go all the way from Japan, America, to go teach and try to provide them education. But they're not really there to actually be healthy enough or be able to come and learn. So I went back to my drawing board. This time I added a couple of things. I still want something new, but now I want to do something about health. Something I want to travel, well obviously, after going to Japan and all these different countries that I travel in between. I still wanted the same thing. And then now I have to go back and re-explore my human capital. Who do I know now that can tell me more about what I can do to do all those things? So I went back. There's my dad. On the top, those are my friends from 7th grade from Hawaii. I met them in Tokyo when I went to visit. And then these are my Taiwanese American friends from that camp, because people went into different careers. Next. So then I thought about what I should do. I thought about public health, like work in policy, 去当卫生局的一些 I don't know, policy people, or I can be a physician, or I can be a nurse, or I could be something health related. But then I felt that in developing countries, or actually we call it now low-income countries, as a physician, you still have more say. When I say I'm a physician, people turn their head around and they listen to you. So then I decided to go into medicine. So you have to take the MCAT, which is like a SAT, but then you take with biochemistry, physics, biology, obviously. So when I was doing that, I also actually went back to the camp. I became a counselor again. And these kids now up here doing Kung Fu poses, they're now this year, the new camp counselors. And then I thought, teaching is very powerful. Medicine actually allows me to combine the two. I'm teaching my patients about how to stay healthy. And yeah. So, of course, I studied so hard for my MCAT. I gotta reward myself somehow. So when I was traveling on jet in Japan, I learned about work and holiday. I think in Taiwan, a lot of people do it too. They go to Australia, they go work in the farm for a year. So I didn't do the farm, but I did do work and holiday. And so I went to Australia for 6 months. As soon as I found out that I got into a medical school, guess what? I bought a ticket to Australia, Sydney. I stayed with my friend in Japan, from Japan. I have a friend who is Australian, so I rented a room from him, and then I stayed in Sydney with him. So that was me, and again, guess what I did when I was in Australia? Play? Definitely did that. What job did I do? Because obviously I gotta work. Nurse? No, I don't have a license yet. I just got into medical school. Teacher? What kind of teacher? You guys are gonna laugh when I say this. Exactly! Say that again. That was a Chinese teacher, can you believe it? So I taught Chinese, well, to little kids. Not you guys, my Chinese sucks compared to you guys. I taught a 5-year-old Chinese. I sang like "妹妹背着洋娃娃" and all these different kid songs, and they had some books, and then I taught them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Because that's what I have. What skills do I have? I speak English. They speak English, right? In Australia, I can't really teach English. So I taught Chinese. And also I taught some math, little kids math that I just circled. So, I lived for 5 months on that. And I traveled for a month from Sydney up to Cairns. So then, Australia, I had to go back to start medical school. So I want to teach you a little bit about my titles. I'm a physician. However, there are two different kinds of physicians in the US, actually now around the world. I'm a DO. I'm a doctor of osteopathic medicine. What does that mean? So osteopathic medicine is a branch back in 1892. At that time, medicine was very medication driven. People just give them, they just treat a lot of the symptoms. They give them penicillin, they give them antibiotics, but they don't really think about the cause of the disease. So this doctor, Dr. Andrew Still, came basically branch off of MD, the medical doctor degree, started this doctor of osteopathic medicine. And then basically it's more of a holistic approach. And looking back, I had two choices. I could apply to the MD or I could apply to the DO. I decided to only apply to the DO because I agree with their philosophy. And also we get to learn osteopathic medicine, which is more manipulative medicine. It's kind of like food.